What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video, and we've got a different change of scenery today. If you can see it, if it's not inverted, I actually don't know. We're here outside the brook. New place in New Hampshire. It's in Seabrook, New Hampshire, and in an effort to try to mix things up, I'm trying to once every 3 videos play somewhere outside of Boston Billiard, because it is definitely the place where I play the most at, but don't want things to be super repetitive. And yeah, so today there's a few 1-2s going on. I think there's 2 2-5 tables. We'll see which game we can actually hop into. Hopefully you enjoy the video. I am wearing all yellow today. Shout out to the Seek Discomfort hoodie. Rocking a lot of LA vibes right now. I don't know. I haven't been outside in a while, playing a lot of online poker for some reason. We're gonna hop inside, play some poker. That's what you're here for. Let's get right into the action. We start the session playing 1-2 at the brook. It's a $300 max buy-in, and first hand here we have a 10-9 of hearts in the big blind. There's an undergun open to $11. The button makes the call, small blind makes the call. Here there are a ton of short stacks on this table and facing an undergun open, out of position. A lot of different reasons as to why I'll just toss in $9 more and make the call and not 3-bet. Anyways, the flop comes Jack 9 deuce rainbow with middle pair and backdoor straight draws. I decide to just check, and action checks around. The turn comes the magical 9, so now improved to trips, and even better, the small blind bets $13. This sizing is just a little too small for us, and since he's the only person with over a $200 stack on the table, I decided to raise this up to $50, not slow play this one and get more money in there. Unfortunately, action folds back to this player, and he also elects on a fold, so not making too much here at the 1-2. So we play 10 minutes of 1-2, very fun 10 minutes, but we get called for the 2-5 game, so we were in the game for $300, out of the game for $330. Good profit of $30 there, we'll take it, and moving on to 2-5. One of the first hands here at 2-5, pocket queens in +1. Good hand to raise it up here, so I'm going to open to $20. We get the cutoff and button to make the call. Let's go to a flop, which comes 10-9-6 rainbow. All things considered, it's an okay flop for us, but definitely one we'll c-bet. I size to $40. We get one caller in the button who has a fairly short stack, so we're going to go to a turn hoping to commit stacks here. The turn is the king of hearts, now 2 hearts out there. We unblock hearts, which is nice, but all around really not a good card. One of the few cards we didn't want to see, as it's over to our pair. Given how short he is, I really didn't see too much merit into committing his stack here and putting him all in, so I decided to check. Now he rips it all in for $221 total. Probably the one action that I didn't necessarily love, but because, like I said, we unblock hands like Queen 10 of hearts that can sometimes be semi-bluffing. We also lose to all King X's, of course, but King Queen seems fairly unlikely. Queen Jack also fairly unlikely since we double block that. We still do have a gutter to go along with our pair, and sometimes we can just suck out, I guess. So I just toss in a crying call. I don't really love the situation, but hopefully we're ahead. We're off to a river, which doesn't improve us, and this player shows us King Jack. Welcome to the 2-5, Ethan. We're stuck $300 in the first 5 minutes of switching tables. Following hand, we pick up another premium in Ace-King offsuit in the cutoff. Action folds to me, and yes, this is a very sophisticated poker play. I decide to raise this one, put this in my raising range, and open to 20. We get the button on my left to make the call, and so does the big blind, so 3 ways to a flop again. Flop comes ace 8-6-2 diamonds, and when action checks to me, ace high flops, obviously good for ace king. I c-bet $40, and we get the player to my left to make the call on the button, and the big blind folds. The turn comes the ace of diamonds. Now, this player is also pretty short, only with $300-ish in stack. So given that situation, I am going to bet again when we improve to trips with top kicker. Not great the flush draw get there, but whatever. I throw out $100, and he quickly folds. This next spot, there's an undergun straddle, so playing 2-5-10, and we have Queen 10 of clubs in the big blind. Action folds around to the small blind, who decides to limp the $10. Here, this hand's pretty good for a raise, so I size to 50 given the $10 straddle. Now onto the straddler. He makes an action that I don't love. He rips his whole stack in there for about $330. Small blind obviously folds and gets out of the way. And now, unfortunately, very frustrated. We obviously want to play this hand as it is very playable, but not against a 33 big blind jam. I'm a little frustrated by the action, obviously wanted to see a flop with this very playable hand, but we have to let this one go and fold. Okay, this one we want to see some all-ins here. Pocket aces on the button. Even better, there's an under the gun open to $20. Action folds to me. And once again, I don't want to explain the very complicated details as to why we 3-bet this hand, but I decided to raise to $60. The blinds fold, and this under the gun player, as suspected, he's going to be defending his 3-bet given a fairly tight range. Anyways, he calls, and the flop comes Jack 7, 3, 2 spades, and a heart. He checks to us, and on this board texture, I am going to bet, and we just size to a normal amount of 1/3 pot of around $45. Given this bet, I am going to be making this bet with pretty much my entire 3-betting range, and here he makes the call for 45. The turn comes the 6 of hearts now, and now he checks with 2 flush draws out there, and I really don't see too many 4-5s in his range, given that he did raise under the gun. I'm going to size up here, given that there are 2 flush draws, and I think we can get a lot of value from maybe one pair holdings like Jack X, or a combination of many draws that are possible. So with my $175 bet, he thinks and ends up making the call. So we've got a big pot brewing, and let's see a river. The river is another 6, and for a 3rd time, he checks. This is pretty much the best card we could ask for, given we do have the best 2-pair holding, and we've got to assume that our hand is going to be good. I think we can get a lot of value from Jack X holdings, certainly can have pocket queens or pocket kings in range, and maybe even 10s or 9s if we want to size up and jam as bluff catchers. So after thinking things over, definitely throwing out a bet, and really the only thing we were thinking about was sizing, I decided to bet $500, sizing up super large and targeting all 1-pair holdings. Now he goes deep into the tank for about a minute or 2, and obviously I am praying for a call. He looks at his chips, counts them out, and ends up making the call, putting it chips in the middle. We show our hand and win a pretty big one. So always nice to be all in with aces and finding a way to win a pretty big pot, especially after that first hand with queens. This next spot, it's not as good as aces, but ace 10 suited in the cutoff is playable enough. I open it up to $20, and once again, we get the button and big blind to call, so let's go to a flop. The flop is queen 8 deuce 2 spades, and on this board texture with the nut flush draw, I'm obviously going to c-bet again, so I size to $40. We get the button to make the call, and when that happens, the big blind decides that 40 is not enough. He check raises to $135, and this player has about 1,000 behind as well, so given this small check raise with the nut flush draw, I'm obviously just never going to be folding, hoping to play for stacks. So given this pretty good price facing a small check raise, I make the call. Maybe the button can call as well, but he unfortunately doesn't. He folds, so we're going heads up to a turn. The turn comes a 6, and now he's got something very interesting and actually checks. I think this is a really strange line on a relatively brick turn card, and I'm not going to take the bait. Maybe he's trying to slow play or take a different line with a really strong hand like pocket 8 or something like that. Not entirely sure, but happy to take a free card and hoping to improve. I check, and the river comes a 4. We totally miss, unfortunately, sitting with ace high. Now he throws out a bet of $150. I was really thinking that all of his value hands that check raises flop would continue on the turn. So here, when he checks turn and now bets out on the river, this line is really confusing as to what he could have. I feel like most showdown hands, like aggressively played even 8x, would also check the river instead of trying to go for value of some sort. So it really leads me to believe that sometimes he has lower spades, and ace high could potentially be good. So there's merit to hero calling here. There's merit to raising as well and get spades or get pocket jacks, pocket 9s to fold, but I don't know how often they're going to be taking this line check raising on the flop. Ultimately, I think raising here is going to get a little too crazy, but I did think about it, but I did let this one go. I was really tempted to get crazy and get out of line though. After showing maybe just a little bit of discipline with the ace 10 not raising on the river, we pick up 10-9 of clubs on the small blind, and there's an under the gun limp. There's a hijack raised to $25. The button makes the call for 25, and here in the small blind, I actually really hate overcalling here. given that we're out of position, but also I don't really love 3-betting too loose and too light in the small blind as well. Anyways, we're given a pretty good price to see a flop. 10-9 can play decently multi-way, so I make the call, and the undergun limper called as well. Multi-way, the flop comes 8-6-6 rainbow with 1 club. Obviously, I check with 10 high and a gutter ball, and action actually checks around. The turn now comes the 3 of clubs, so given we did improve to our combo draw, certainly going to lead out and take a stab at this given the passive action. I lead out for $65, and good news, we take it down with 10 high as all the other players fold. So this last significant hand of note, we have pocket nines in the small blind, and action folds to the button, who opens to $15. He is a short stack, a fairly tight player, but here in the small blind, I still think we do have to 3-bet this holding given his tighter image. So I 3-bet and size up to $60 for X. The big blind folds, and the button does something we aren't necessarily in love with. He rips it all in, 4-bet jams for $125. Here, obviously, I'm just never going to be folding for $65 more, so I make the call, but I don't necessarily love it. So we're off to a run out, and after all things are said and done, this player shows ace-8 for a pair of 8s, and our pocket 9s are going to scoop this pot. We take it down, and we are continuing to chip up. All right, some little mid-session update to go over a little dilemma that we're dealing with right now. So we've only been playing for about an hour and a half of 2-5. We played like 10 minutes of 1-2, made, I think it was $30, yeah. We made $30 of the 1-2, and then we got moved to the 2-5, and there's 2 games running. There was the must and the main. And then, now, after an hour 30, we're actually sitting pretty well. I actually don't know what's in front of me, but we're up a decent amount with that aces hand. And now the 5-10 is opened. We're on the list for 5-10. But we just got moved to the main 2-5, and the main 2-5, it's not a great game, but the 5-10 is actually decent. It looks okay. Looks like there's pretty good action. So now we're just kind of in the waiting period where I don't know what to do. I have 8 hands to talk about for you guys, and it's only been an hour and a half. And I really want to play that 2-5 and potentially just turn that into a different video or combine it into a really long video. I'm not entirely sure. But I think right now I'm leaning towards not playing the main 2-5 and potentially waiting for the 5-10. Don't know how long it'll take because the game literally just started, and I'm an idiot for saying no initially because I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, let me know. That's the dilemma that I'm running through right now. Let me know in the comments below what you guys want me to do. Obviously, you guys want more content. I think the 8 hands right now that we've gone through have been actually pretty well. Just lucky that we ran into spots in such a short amount of time. So it makes for a good video, and we can definitely leave up a couple $100. I want to play this 5-10. I don't want to play this 2-5. Just game selection is always really important, and I think in this 2-5 game, I'm going to lose. Not because, I don't know, for a number of different reasons, I think I'm going to lose, or it's minus EV, just a tad bit where I have to be a little more disciplined, play a little bit more patient. And yeah, with that said, we might wrap it up, but I'll have an official outro in a little bit, I guess. All right, we did what we said we were gonna do in that little mid-session / outro or pre-outro. Got out of the 2-5 main game. I went back, sat down a little I just kind of watched, and overall, I think end of the day, like I don't think it's a game where I can maximize long-term EV. If that makes any sense. I just feel like if I sit there, I'm just trying to grind and not be able to play how I normally do, which is very loose and aggressive. And, you know, when you play against tighter players, you can't do that. Or not as much. You get punished much more. But anyways, yeah, I mean, overall, also very demotivated or de-incentivized to do so when I already had hands to talk about. So a little behind the scenes as to how I think about recording these vlogs, making these videos, and pumping them out on a very consistent basis. Reason why you see more shorter sessions from me most of the time is 1, we are playing 6-handed, so you do get involved more, but 2, I can't get burnt out. We're making 3 videos a week, so getting burnt out and feeling burnout would be a disaster in terms of the upload schedule. So really just trying to provide consistent content, and sometimes I'm going to play these really short sessions, which is unfortunate because it is like an hour-long drive for me, but whatever. It is what it is. Anyways, we made $10 in the 1-2 after 10 minutes, and we played a little over an hour and a half of 2-5 in the game for 1270 out of it for 1864. So overall, no complaints. Like, definitely a little uptick in the hourly there. But thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Like they said, comment down below what you guys think about the vlog quality and how long I play, if that matters at all for you guys. But I'm done rambling. See you guys next time. Peace.